the great leader, Comrade Joe Slovo. And we always come here and do a lot of reflection on where we're coming from for the past 30 years. What have we done? What have we not done? But clearly, there's a lot we've done, comrades. But there's a lot which we need to do. We will reflect on that and leave everything. The General Secretary will be the main speaker of the day. All I want to say, comrades, with this very short talk, I'm opening for all the speakers, but they must respect the program directors. Listen carefully to them, because these are the things which are going to take us forward. What is very clear in this country, we might have had or we might have the political freedom, but we don't have the economic freedom yet. What we are noticing, those who oppressed us are starting to be arrogant now. And how do we deal with those issues? The issue of economic empowerment, economic freedom is very key. We will leave everything. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you very much, Comrade Tulas. I thought you were going to give him a round of applause. We are aware. We are doing everything in our powers to try and get speakers for that corner and that corner. Our technical team, rest assured, is working on it. Not very long, the problem would be resolved. But comrades, because of the that we have, we can't wait for speakers. What we'll do, we'll proceed with the program while we are trying to solve the problem. Without a waste of time, let me call to the podium the Provincial Secretary of the Communist Party, of the South African Communist Party here in Gauteng, Comrade Jacob Mamabulu, to do a brief welcome address on behalf of the province.
Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva Sanco, viva! Viva Sacp, viva! Viva Sacp, viva! Viva Young Communist League, viva! Royal Lion Throw! Malibongwe! Amanda! Tata Sacp, Tata! Thank you very much, Comrade Provincial Chair, Dr. and Professor Amanda Hate. Comrades, I've been directed by the Provincial Executive Committee, our PEC, to extend our revolutionary greetings, express a word of welcome, and of course, greet all of you, comrades, and convey our sincere, special greetings and welcome as we put our hands to say Happy New Year to our General Secretary, Comrade Solima Pai. Happy New Year, cheers, Happy New Year! Thank you very much, comrades. Comrades, building on what the Chair, Deputy Chair Comrade Tula said, it is indeed a great honor to greet and of course welcome
the President of the African National Congress, who is also the President of our country, Tate Cyril Ramaphosa. Long live President Cyril Ramaphosa, long live. Thank you very much. Comrades, without any much ado, we are very much pleased to extend our revolutionary greetings to our class Ali, COSATU, the Federation, and of course, all its affiliates and the entire membership of COSATU. Viva COSATU, viva! Viva! Forward to unity, forward! Comrades, we are also deeply honored to welcome and acknowledge the leadership of SANCO that is here with us. Trina Mtali, Trina! Roar, Young Lions, roar! Badibomwe! To all the NEC of the NC, all our party officials, and of course all Central Committee members, would like to extend our greetings. Comrade Madala Masuku is going to our first Deputy General Secretary, is going to acknowledge all the guests, but allow me, comrades, to also extend our revolutionary greetings to the family of Comrade Slovo, to all our veterans and stalwarts that are here with us, and of course, we would like to take this opportunity, comrades, to also greet all of you comrades who are here. We also want to thank you that once more, comrades, very early in the year, you came to remember, to honor, to commemorate the militant life of Comrade Slovo. But also, comrades, allow me to greet and acknowledge Comrade Africa, the District Secretary in Linda Chavani. We must acknowledge him. He is the hosting District Secretary. Let us also acknowledge that the Mayor of the city of Joburg, the regional chair of the NC, Comrade Tata and his leadership are here. Long live the Mayor, long live. Comrades, lastly, if I don't acknowledge the Premier and the leadership he leads, I might have to step aside. Comrades, let's welcome the provincial MC, Comrade Panyaza Lisufi. Viva Comrade Panyaza, viva! Viva Comrade Panyaza, viva! To all the media houses that are here, to all of you, compliments of the new year, happy new year, best wishes, you are most welcome, comrades.
Viva Kulube, viva! Long live the anti-spiritual Chabane, long live! Thank you very much. Without any waste of time, one of the problems that we normally have is when the comrades make the supposed messages of support, they start to acknowledge everyone. So we want to deal with the thing up front by calling Comrade Madala Masuku, the first DGS, to come and acknowledge everyone who is important, who is here, so that when you send your message of support, you can rise on that established protocol. So, Comrade Madala, please come over so that you can do that item.
Hands up! Hands up! Viva ANC, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SANCO, viva! Viva Fasimba, viva! Comrade GS, ascending to acknowledge the President as the host of this event, together with officials, the National Treasurer, Comrade Joyce Malloy, the second DGS, Comrade Comrade Masondo, Dr. Masondo, Comrade Deputy Chair, decided the convention here. We've got Comrade Polipushelo, who is here, Comrade Chisa, who is here, Comrade Jenny Shirana, Comrade Nico, Comrade Bulelwa, Chisa, Comrade Mabusempe, Comrade Blue, Elanga, Comrade Sani Shabanu, Comrade James Umano, Comrade Uti Maname. So to you, members of the Central Committee, guests that we've invited today that have arrived. We have from the ANC, the president has already been acknowledged, and we have the chair of the province, Comrade Anyaza Litsufi, who is asking to be released earlier because he has to go and join the Rally Hawk, also have Comrade Jeff Adler, who is a former NEC member and also a former Central Committee member of the party. From COSATU, we have Comrade Duncan Lubuno, the second deputy president, who is going to speak to you later on. We have got Comrade Gerald Twala, the COSATU DGF. We then have among us also international guests. Among them, we have got Comrade Manova Mota of the CPS. We also have Comrade we also have Chairman of the Act, especially those that want the legacy. They also that some of them very in honor of them because we from some that are married I don't see. When I left out anybody here, they are going to
Comrade Matala for acknowledged everyone messages support. Mangoba to come on of Palestine to also page on behalf of the Palestinians.
COSATU viva! Viva NCNC viva! Viva YCLSA viva! Comrades Lome, standing before you, Mangoba Mota from the Communist Party of Swaziland. So comrades, I will just go through the message from the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Swaziland. As it reads, dear comrades, in the spirit of revolutionary solidarity, the Communist Party of Swaziland extends its warmest greetings to the South African Communist Party as you commemorate the enduring legacy of Comrade Slovo, a stalwart of our collective struggle for justice, equality and socialism. This commemoration serves as a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made by countless individuals in the pursuit of freedom and dignity for all. Slovo was more than just a leader. He was a beacon of hope for many who sought liberation from the shackles of apartheid. His life was characterized by the tireless commitment to fight against oppression, and his unwavering dedication to the principles of socialism continues to inspire us in our own struggle. Vision held multi-facilities caring for our own contribution been more urgent. With comrades and equality, fight for just and equitable society. In these challenging times, it is crucial that we stand together and not in collaboration in our mass mobilization campaign as a Communist Party. And together we believe that we can build a brighter future for our nations and ensure that sacrifices of our heroes like Comrade Slovo are never forgotten. Let us remember, comrades, that the struggle for liberation is not merely a historical event. It is an ongoing journey that requires our unwavering dedication and collective action. And together we can forge a path toward a world where equality, justice, and freedom reign supreme. Long live
Free Palestine!
FIFA. President of South Africa, President of ANC people would its trial before the international decisions of Communist Party between our religious aspect of life. International 2 years in our called the generous called
who are being treated. ANC, ANC come back to the corruption. Panzi of the Communist Party has managed to do a lot.
Comrades, now, Lomamelu Fasil.
Jesus born is power. Viva the vanguard of the Viva! Thank you so much that you first, second, Vice President as well as the General Secretary and the G to the President of Sacp, Comrade Alungile, and was also a strategic thinker, a man of unwavering principle, the structuring of society. It is that perpetuates capitalism. Our youth, who are supposed to be inheritors of the hard-won freedom that Slovo and his generation sacrificed for, are among the young people, a staggering 60%, is a testament to the systemic failure that prioritizes progress. One must then ask the question: government initiative, employment accord, government subsidy, window dressing, in the interest of capital, pacify the masses while maintaining the status quo. Comrade Slovo would have recognized these deceptive tactics for what they are, of the youth. We must also the situation. What would he expect to us, the children of the revolution? That oppress some abstract economic phenomenon is the empty plate on the table, the overdue rent notice, the anxiety that subjected young people to resort to speculative activities such as gambling online,
between the lifeblood of the working class and the poor. We demand substantial state investment in industries that create meaningful employment for our youth, namely emerging sectors like manufacturing, renewable energy. These are the sectors that are self-sufficient economy, taking our dependence on capital and multi cooperation that help and leave us with. We reject private sector-led growth. The very foundation of our nation remains concentrated in the hands of radical land reform. A radical idea. It is a necessity. We must reclaim our land. Pharmaceutical and mineral companies are not utopian fantasies. They are strategic imperatives in a man of national unity. Is a reality. In reality, is a government on neoliberal unity. This alliance with a party fundamental, their austerity measures, their attacks on public service, and their unwavering support for privatization are all evidence of their commitment to a neoliberal agenda. This so-called unity is a farce, a smokescreen for a continued assault of the working class and the poor. Look at the battle over the NHI. Those who cry foul here, who raise the specter of inefficiency and collapse, conveniently forget that they readily access similar services in other, or shall we say, more developed nations. Their agenda is to cycle overhead, challenging in court, for the lives of our people paid for by the capital. The hypocrisy stings deep. Doctors who resist NHI here eagerly practice it in Commonwealth countries with similar systems. We demand the implementation of the national health establishment of state-owned pharmaceutical profiteering from essential needs. For medical and nursing access into these institutions, equipping our healthcare professionals to serve the needs of a post-colonial society. The DA, with their crocodile tears over Bella Bill, try to mask their true intentions. They are feigning concern for educational standards, but their actions speak louder than their words. Their obstructionism is a thinly veiled attempt to cling to a power that serves only their narrow interest with the opposition. Even within our ranks, complacency and resistance to change fester. When the president calls for progress for a radical overhaul of our education system, are met with deep silence within his own ministers, particularly from the Minister of Education. We know the depth of challenge we face. This silence is not simply disagreement. It is a betrayal of promises made to our people. It is a dereliction. From the president, the ring hollow when your ministers actively undermine your vision. The time for empty promises is over. The time for decisive action is now. Mr. President, fire the basic minister Barube now. Appoint someone who shares your commitment to transformative education. Someone who will champion the cause of our youth. Someone who will build a future worthy of our children. The YCL's call for SSCP to independently contest state power is not rejection of the alliance. It is a realization of Slovo's vision. The alliance in its current state has become diluted, its revolutionary potential stifled. The NDR can no longer survive as an occasional guest of state institutions. It must be uncompromising tenant, shaping the very foundation of our government. We need an alliance that truly represents the interests of the workers and youth, an alliance that is not afraid to wield, alliance that is not afraid to will power in the service of the people. So what do we do? What do we offer youth today? We do not ask for minor reforms, for piecemeal changes that will not shift the needle in the fight against capitalist exploitation. We demand radical systematic change. We demand nationalization of key industries like we in South Africa must continue to fight on behalf of those who suffer under imperialism's grip. South Africa's economy is still tightly bound to the forces of imperialism. As we remain tethered to an unproductive economy, truly. For us as the we are saying, for Baba's
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Zandile. Five comrades. Comrade Manta.
Amanda. 47. It's a black Range Rover. Y49DF. Attend to your car, comrades, before it is. It's in charge. Announce the next speaker.
Comrades, and we together with
the General Secretary to form part of this great program, the sacrosanct event here at Avalon City. Of more significance is the SACP before the celebration of the 114th birthday in Cape Town. Comrades, let me stratify going forward. Of a singular, I will not labor, which I must hasten to say and to add, that has been pending for a while. The ball is on this SACP's court, bounds it, and we must take heed of the age-old warning that if we allow the truth to remain on the scaffold, evil will forever be on the throne. We have learned of one of the SACP's 5th Congress resolution on state power and how it wishes to explore IT and the proletariat. Thoughts have reverberated in
It is very important, comrades, that we repeat the APC, the alliance now GNU, the ideological descendants of the previous regime. Comrades, really, it is unscientific to think that Yungashia is a minister of land. Comrades, it's actually failing to in his elected. What we are doing or what has been corrected is corrected. That's what I was saying. Because land is among the issues that we are fighting for. Someone is agriculture. Because it is very important, comrades. Power station saying that we cannot, if indeed we want to correct what our masses, they feel alienated by the posture that we are taking, by a handful that is there in the MDM. There's a handful, of course, comrade, that those petty bourgeoisie which are brought to come and defend the status quo. It cannot be president. Yes, indeed, we must apologize on behalf of the MDM to Comrade Slovo that we are in court. This Transnet has been privatized.
Now moving, and I'm requesting the comrades here to be left only with Comrade Manta. I'm going to be calling and requesting the comrades to bring, by the way, I must correct this, the deputy president of the ANC was here previously. Now, Today we have the president of the ANC. There's an improvement. And we like it because we want to listen to our leaders. Especially now that we're going to January 8th, which is on the 11th. He's just going to give us a prelude to what is going to happen in Cape Town. The president of the African National Congress. I'm requesting the comrades, President Cyril Ramaphosa, to come forward. The ANC yasetyenzelwa, halala yaset. The ANC yasetyenzelwa.
The GS Charles of the African Communist Party, who are here, and the leaders of Sanco, as well as the leaders of the ANC provincial staff of PL. Comrades, I am truly honored this opportunity, and I'm particularly pleased to be here. The African were leading me into this precinct, and President, you see with it, kodwa nithi iDA anithandi kodwa ninekhala eblue, nifaka neblue, mina ngifuna ukuhamba kule blue. I just want to walk on the red. So comrades, it's actually a joy to be here on to the meeting of the National Executive Committee, which will be that I will probably run late because I've got to be here. Yeah, asifuni GNU. Watu Comrade Panyaza, President, close your ears. So that you must not hear Gati. I want to hear the song Uma Abad Beta by Funi GNU. Comrades, it is a joy to be here, particularly to commemorate the extraordinary life of the revolutionary Comrade Joe Slovo isitwalandwe siaparangwe. We gather here not only so that we can honor his contribution to the struggle for liberation, but also to reflect on his legacy and how we can draw lessons from his life, from his actions, as well as from his character. Decades since the South Africa we live in today is different. Our democracy, which Comrade Joe Slovo our democratic, we can, the council is delivered. The council is delivered. Views that are next to Comrade Soli. The transformative process that united together in prosecuting the national democratic, our constitutional democratic, our constitution. Seen the shadow of apartheid is still with us. Apartheid still casts a shadow on the lives of many of our people. As we move forward, corruption undermines the capability that he dedicated his life. It's not the liberation movement, broader democratic movement, and left unfinished. It is our responsibility up the spear when we can draw from his life. And now to have seen how he worked at close range, he interacted with Babu Kotani, with Nelson Mandela. When presented with the opportunity of African, Joe Slovo chose into a world, but he died of the oppressed and exploited. Joe chose a life of, like many other compatriots who joined the struggle for to the political or economic cannot be available to one person to the exclusion of any other, according to race or class. This principle has been a common thread throughout our the ANC society that is based on the best in human civilization. It says that should find social inclusivity. For Joe Slovo, inherent understanding of the society he had, a remarkable ability to capture the essence of any of those who you always knew up through the process of ideology. He was eager and to deepen understanding of the rational and willing to listen. And he was a writer of seminal documents that to influence us during that time, that science and the democratic movement looked up not only of our revolution as the one where with great incisiveness and with great patience to get. We need to have the culture within the liberation to build the social cultural forces that shape, demonstrate, characterize the Slovo, an armchair politician, but he was a practiced, he helped. This was the person whose character we are in. This was one of his great strengths. He was a strategist. He to the task of the moment in practical terms. As a leader, he occupied many positions of great importance within the liberation movement as the first white member of the ANC National Executive Committee, as the General Secretary of the Communist Party, and as the Chief of Staff of Umkhonto weSizwe. He occupied these positions not because he sought them, not because he pushed himself, not because he wanted them, but because he was recognized by his comrades as an outstanding leader of proven capability. He did not try to push people out of the way so that he did not do that. In each instance, he understood the value and the task of the liberation of our people, and he literally threw himself into the execution of that task. Now today we find ourselves in an environment where positions of responsibility, resources, state, social and economic, was his ability and also flexible, armed struggle in the midst of one of those with Comrade. And as negotiations for democratic transition got under armed struggle, yes, that decision was we without our struggle to ultimate victory and march to Pretoria with our guns blazing. But he understood the exigencies of that moment. He led the debate in the ANC also on very tricky concepts such as the sunset clauses as a means to break the negotiations deadlock and clear the way for the adoption of an interim constitution. And this came from a high-ranking communist leader who saw that the moment that we were in required different tactics so that we can use that as a beachhead to move forward and to strengthen our own position, to use that as leverage. He is one of those who produced a document that finally said, apart from adopting the sunset clause, where we would retain those who were strengthened, and that's exactly, yes, by Ubabu Nelson Mandela, National Democratic Revolution. Longer served their purpose is action from in the elections last year. As we all know, the African National Congress suffered a great electoral setback. As a consequence, the conditions in which we pursue the NDR today is different from the conditions that prevailed in the first 30 years of democracy, because we an outright majority as to be done as we have done. The actual outcome does not, comrades, signal the terminal decline of the ANC. It sent a clear message to our movement that we must act differently, that we must act decisively and with urgency to restore the confidence of the people of our country, the African National Congress. This setback has required that we understand the nature of the changed conditions and that we adopt approaches that will maintain the momentum of fundamental economic, political and social change in our country. Now, as the Alliance, we have the responsibility to meet the hopes of our people, especially in trying moments. We must continue, as Joe Slovo would have done, to continuously assess balance of forces, to continuously analyze the terrain of struggle, and to review our tactical approaches. At this time, we recall Joe Slovo's critical and its practices, its progress, its strengths and weaknesses, as well as its opportunities and threats. We need to speak openly about our own failures and weaknesses so that we can draw the necessary lessons and, importantly, take the necessary corrective action. This does not mean that we should diminish the progress we have made or disregard the substantial capabilities and strengths that reside within our movement. We need to move with urgency and boldness to implement the actions that arise from the lessons that we have learned. But we must also be willing to listen to one another. Yes, the African National Congress must be willing and prepared to listen to comrades who are saying the GNU is a mistake. We must listen. Similarly, every one of us must also listen to the path that is being taken and look out for the dangers and make all of us alert to the dangers that we see. We must also undertake the renewal and rebuilding of our movement and alliance with greater vigor and purpose. Tactic evolution. He also understood in shaping how this relationship between the ANC and the SACP was vital. Organization to refining the ANC's ideological outlook. Together, the two formations have pursued common ends and undertaken common programs that have advanced the cause of the people of South Africa. The SACP has been a strength behind the ANC. Similarly, the ANC has been a pillar of strength to the SACP. And the two need each other. The SACP needs the ANC needs the SACP. The two are like twins. Separating them is to weaken our NDR. Getting one to walk separately is to weaken the National Democratic Movement. We therefore need doing very well in South Africa. For the last 30 years of a national will really stand us in good stead. There are many aspects. It's his vision of the future. Until a society has been built in which no person has the freedom to exploit another person. If we are to appreciate the meaning of the life and the struggle of Isitwalandwe, Siaparankwe, Joe Slovo, then we must dedicate our every effort and our every means to the achievement of this vision. And this vision is best achieved when we have a strong alliance, when the four parts of the alliance work together, joined not only in the arms but joined to the hip, strengthening one another, making power that the public movement, NDR, we then just create the African. You then 50s has we need to ask ourselves whether we are truly serious about winning state power on our own as the alliance. Because if we are, then we walk together.
If we walk separately, then we must then accept that yes, state power is going to be diffused and is no longer going to reside in the hands of the mass democratic movement or the alliance. That is the choice we have to make, and that is the message that I want to put forward. As I say, let us remember Joe Slovo. Joe Slovo stood for a strong alliance. Joe Slovo, despite the challenges and difficulties, he wanted to see an alliance that is strong. Forward with the memory of Joe Slovo, forward. Forward with the South African Communist Party, forward.
Of the ANC, but there will be the proper vote of thanks later on. Order, comrades. Order, comrades. Time, comrades. Time. Time, comrades. Time. Comrades, there's of the youth in Katlehong as an MK combatant. He is an honor. What he
program directors, Comrade Messi, our Deputy National Chairperson, as well as Dr. Mandla Khatebe, Professor Khatebe, our Provincial Chair in Gauteng, for running our program. Comrades, let me start by extending our greetings to all of you who are here today and greet the leadership of I want to say that, Comrade President, you have joined President Mandela, who came here as well. Yes, President Mandela did arrive when we were celebrating the memory of Comrade Joe Slovo. One evening, that's the reason why we're celebrating it this way. Because President Mandela me, so I'm coming. That's the first time we organized a sound system. And it has been like that ever since.
we're working with ever since that time. Of the Communist Party, Comrade Nawanga Malunga, my NOPs were Communist Party, Comrade Madala Masuku, our first Deputy General Secretary, as well as Comrade Julius Ngesi, our Deputy National Chair, Comrade David our Secretary General Secretary. Our Chair wishing speedy recovery is seeing a specialist today. And all members of our Central Committee that are present here, and our provincial leadership from various provinces, especially our Host Province, led by Comrade Jacob Mamabulo, Minashuru, and members of the PC here in Gauteng, and the rest of the Gauteng leadership structures, especially our district here in Linda Chabani, led by Comrade Africa. We also greet the leadership of the ANC, members of the National Executive Committee, as well as the chairperson of the ANC, Comrade Panyaza, who just left to attend the NEC meeting that the president will join as well. We want to wish that meeting great success as they prepare for the January 8th celebrations, and also extend our special greetings to the African National Congress on this momentous occasion of its anniversary. Present that anniversary, Comrade President. Let me also acknowledge the presence of Comrade Dada Morero, the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, who is the chair of our ANC here in the region. We recognize Comrade Dada. We've had a brief discussion about the state of the city. It's a matter that we will take up going forward. Again, comrades, let me recognize the leadership of COSATU, led here by fellow fighter Comrade Mike Shake, the first Deputy President of COSATU, and Comrade Duncan, on behalf of our mighty federation, COSATU. He is the second Vice President. As well as the leadership of COSATU present here, Comrade Solipeto, the General Secretary. I've seen the former General Secretary, Bakania, Comrade Becky Chalinjali. Yeah, he's here as well. All leaders of COSATU affiliates who are present here. And leadership of SANCO, Comrade Muloi, and the rest of the leadership from the province who are here, and national members of the NEC. And greet Comrade Nombeko from Umkhonto Sizwe Liberation War Veterans. Commander Nombeko, thanks very much that Umkhonto Sizwe Liberation War Veterans continues the oath we all took to fight on behalf of our people, to be used as an instrument on behalf of the African National Congress for the liberation of our people. And I'm glad that MK Liberation War Veteran continues on this trajectory. Again, comrades, greet the leadership of our Young Communist League, all members of the National Executive Committee, National Committee of the Young Communist League, led by Comrade Mzwandile Takudi. Wonderful message, Comrade Mzwandile. Even the President acknowledged that this message is substantial. I have seen other leaders, members of the Young Communist League, including one renegade member, but I like him. This one, Comrade President, is a medical doctor by profession. He's the only party case that was not a member of the African National Congress. I failed to convince him to join. All others belong to the African National Congress. We need a special session to engage him further as well, Comrade President. He's here. They are all greeted. Of course, the Communist Party of Swaziland, Comrade Mangoba, who express our sincere appreciation. The ambassadors, we have the ambassador. I'll be traveling, elected president of Venezuela. Revolutionary Alliance, and the alliance gave them a thumbs up. Free and fair elections. In any case, they've got more elections than any other country in the world. And all of them peaceful, great. And the system gives you results instance. So what imperialism is trying to do is something we don't understand. But we understand because of the resources in Venezuela. I'll talk to this particular question later on, that they want to continue to destabilize that particular country. We also have here, comrades, the representative of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the DPRK, North Korea, as they call it. It's one Korea is divided by imperialism, who have created North and South, and they put a buffer of military people, over 50,000 US soldiers located in that border to divide one country. But there's nothing they can do. That country is independent, DPRK. We appreciate your presence here, comrades. Most welcome. We are very much free when you are here. Of course, Comrade Bassam, the Deputy Ambassador of Venezuela, who gave us a message as well, we recognize him. But it's important, comrade, that we have indicated here that we have got special guests today as we commemorate this 30th anniversary since the death of Comrade Joe Slovo. We have the families of our fallen heroes, the family of Comrade Bani Molokwane, as well as the family of Comrade King Sibia. Now I want to say a few words about all of these comrades. Sacp. He was one of our Slovo. As we know, the many battles to Comrade Linda Chabani, that our Johannesburg district is named after, was commonly called the almost platoons. That's more than 60 police and soldiers of the apartheid regime for 4 hours. One cadre of the Liberation Army Umkhonto weSizwe, Linda Chabani. This is our hero. And we recognize the family continuously. Teposi Moody was one of, we call him the fighting commissar. His unit infiltrated the headquarters of UNITA in Angola. 4th UNITA forces captured the base of UNITA. When they were calling for reinforcement from MK comrades and the Angolans, the Fapla forces said, no, it's not possible. How did you capture them? They said, no, we are here. He was among those combatants with Comrade ABC Shoba, my late general. And of course, Comrade Dos Santos, at the time, was head of security in Angola, appreciated that achievement and recognized those comrades. That unit was given a special permit to be on holiday for a couple of weeks in Angola. So this is what the SABC and the media should be writing about Umkhonto weSizwe, the People's Liberation Army. Of course, these families, Comrade King Sibia, just died a couple of months ago. Soweto Committee of 10 with a Comrade NGO called Illuminate Human Rights Foundation. This program, people's houses and selling them out, and ultimately you want this in the house in from your house. They must sell that if they succeed in evicting you. They must sell that house at the market price and take their debt and give you the remainder of the money. In the past, The banks used to evict you, sell the house at the market price, take everything, and you continue to own them. So Comrade Kinsilia won that important victory for us and our people. We want to thank you. These are my special guests today. You are most welcome. And this Comrade Kinsilia's wife in the middle, she's not that well. And we want to, Comrade Beneza, go and talk to her now, give her details. I want you to get other physicians and other medical doctors. From now on, we are handing her into your hands to look after her health. That's a medical doctor. We send him in sugar. We'll look after you, ma'am. Siyabonga Batabani, from the families of our heroes. We appreciate you. We appreciate the sacrifices of your family members, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, and everybody who contributed to where we are today. We want to say to you, we will never forget you. And the memory will always be etched in our hearts until we have socialism in this country. That's the only true freedom a society can get. No bourgeois freedom that can guarantee the full rights of people. Otherwise, thank you very much. Now, having said that, comrades, let me first thank the President for arriving here today. Wait a minute, the President is giving you some shakes. I'll be a team, make sure that they are covered proper. I also visited all the outcomes of the engagement. Comrade President, thank you very much for the generosity. Comrade, let me join Comrade Jacob Mamabulo. You in particularly, and the masses of our country, a very healthy, prosperous, and peaceful 2025. We believe that this year, things will be better for the working class and our people. We also want to thank all workers, particularly those who were on duty during the festive period, despite the mess that capital has made of our economy. We still find time to celebrate as the working class. All sectors of society, from the taxi industry, the police, the traffic, the healthcare workers, the retail and hospitality sector workers, the entertainment workers, and all sectors of our society, those who sacrifice their lives so that we can enjoy our festive period as South Africans. And indeed, having visited these many families of our heroic guerrillas and fighters and fallen cadres here in Soweto and also in Mamelodi and other parts of the country, we will be doing so throughout the 30th anniversary of Comrade Joe Slovo, who was Chief of Staff of our Mkhonto Wesizwe. Yes, indeed, Comrade Joe Slovo, Comrade President, you spoke at length about him. I'll jump some of the questions so that we don't repeat. But it's important to indicate that Joe Slovo was not just a key leader for our movement, was a special cadre who understood the general principles of front politics. We'll speak briefly about this question, particularly when the ANC developed, after a visit to Vietnam, they developed the Green Book. And he was actually one of the drafters of the report from Vietnam in what is called the Green Book. The Green Book that articulated the general strategy of the democratic revolutionary forces in our country, particularly about intensification of mass mobilization and making the apartheid regime ungovernable, and other strategies, the interrelationship between the military and the political and mass struggles. So Joe Slovo articulated that quite well. At the same time, comrade, When we're visiting some of these families of our departed comrades, we found that majority of them still live in poverty. Comrade Madala went at length to explain this. I just want to indicate that yes, the Department of Military Veterans that is moving at slow pace to look at the interests of former fighters, liberation fighters, both from Kondowe Sizwe, as well as from other liberation armies. The manner in which these fighters who were prepared to die for our country have been looked at leaves much to be desired, particularly when government has allocated some resources. So there must be special attention to this matter, Comrade President, so that our comrades can be looked after together with their families. But Comrade Slovo dedicated his entire life to the democratic anti-imperialist revolutionary struggle of the people's liberation for a non-racial, democratic and peaceful South Africa that is equal across all sectors of society, egalitarian in terms of the ownership of wealth. In other words, where you could not see the difference between the rich and the poor in a country. That's what Comrade Joe Slovo fought for. Of course, he was inspired by Marxism-Leninism. And as he died on the 6th of January 1995, I personally was in the military base in Valmansdal. The Boer commanders refused us to come and bury him. I told him, I went to see the brigadier in charge. I said, if you refuse, know that I am going to his funeral. I came to his funeral from the military base. And that engagement led to the base allowing comrades to leave to come and bury Comrade Joe Slovo. They were doing it deliberately, the white military racists. But born as Joseph Marshal Slovo on the 23rd of May 1926 in Oberley, Lithuania, Slovo's journey to South Africa began at the age of 9. And this, will, of course, will mark the beginning of his lifelong commitment to the working class and its struggles. Of course, here in South Africa, being a white person had many privileges accorded to all white people. But he came from a poor family. He started working, for instance, at the age of 16, at a warehouse, where he met the trade union movement, and actually became a trade unionist, and later on even a shop steward, and even led a strike. It was when he was leading the strike that the response of the management was to favor only white workers, that he decided to take further the struggle for inclusivity at that very young age. Of course, he would later leave to join the army in the war, the Second World War, in the war against imperialism and against fascism. And this, of course, working in the factory floor, widened his deep understanding and connection between the national oppression and class exploitation, and to understand the source of all oppression, which is capitalism. He became a key leader, as Comrade President indicated, of our movement across the board. But when we speak about Joe Slovo, we cannot do so as communists. This is the most important task that we need to do even in our communities. We don't just talk politics without analyzing the condition of the people in that particular community. That's where we derive our program. Our program is derived from the condition of the working class, from the condition of the people. So party structures, branches, your task is not much to follow leaders, is to analyze the living conditions on the ground and to respond to those conditions, to change them for better, so that the people can live better. We are in a country that you say if Slovo was alive, Marxist tools of analysis, the same tools that were imparted to the rest of the liberation movement, to understand society and how to resolve the problems of society. One of the current problems is that when we look at
aggregate achievement of our liberation struggle. We always say this as the Communist Party. We are grateful for the achievement the liberation movement has made in this country. And we hope our people can also be more grateful, particularly the middle strata. At the same time, we are aware about the reversals that are taking place at a strategic level. Reversals that make this achievement minuscule. In which majority of our people can afford just basic foodstuff on a daily basis in a country that is practically the richest on the African continent. Leave this deep basin of the economy by Nigeria and even Egypt. The issue is that we are also the most industrialized economy on the African continent. Yet, our people survive on less than 2.15 rand, $2.15 a day, which is equivalent to 18 rand 78 cents as of recent. Now, no one can survive on this, particularly with the high cost of living in society, driven by factors beyond our control, driven by the imperialist USA, because the US Communist President, one thing that all people in government must appreciate is the fact that we never should compare how we run our economy with that of the United States. The United States runs the economy by corporations. They don't even have SOEs, state-owned entities. Even in the defense sector, they don't have. They just capture a corporation, give it money, like Lockheed Martin, that makes their fighter planes and everything else. They give it money for research and development and everything else, and say, you don't sell to anybody except to us. You only sell to somebody who wants you to do so. So they have no interest of society at heart as a system. The system is not meant for society, it's meant for corporations. And the corporations are, the state is just a mere procurer of services. In our case, it's different. We're an underdeveloped country. Siyawafuna SOEs are developing those so that, for instance, take electrification of our country by ESCOM. It would not have been possible if we were in the US, because everyone will still have to go and buy on a private basis electrification of their houses. Before I came back from outside, Comrade President, you visited us in our camp one day. When I left the country, my family could not afford to pull electricity into the house. But the next door neighbor who ran a tavern had. Now with the state capacity, we roll out electrification across the country. So that system must remain, and in other areas as well. We also need innovation and create appropriate entities. For instance, in this country, where we have got so much sea, we still do not have state control of fisheries, except by legislation. We can't feed our people protein, our children protein in the inland, because the entire fish industry is left to private capital. The state must play a role if we are to deal with poverty and innovate and enter those spaces and not leave everything to capital. Because capital doesn't care for the people except for profit for themselves. At the same time, Comrade President, the working class is living under a super burden of exploitation by capital. The state that you lead cannot observe the hardening conditions of the workers and the people of our country. So that is why, for instance, the state must find a mechanism to discipline capital, to take charge of the affairs of society. I'll speak at length later on about this particular question. But here it indicates that the exploitation of the people by capital continues unabated, almost at the same level as that of the United States. And yet, the United States is one of the most developed countries in the world in terms of infrastructure, resources, and everything else. So it is in this regard that
We have to build the capacity of the state, to build public economy, and for the state to lead interventions on behalf of the people. These capitalist corporations do not account to anybody, and yet they want to play a major role in determining the policy of government. It is in this regard that we have also seen the working class living under situation of crime, a crime that has gone out of control. The principal driver, Comrade President, of crime in society. The principal, not only, but the main and principal driver of crime. They counter that by making sure that every single street is a case where we have no such capabilities. So the state has to find a way in which the state can't just take responsibility. We have therefore to create programs on our own. Gender-based violence. Correct people who are doing wrong. I recognize Comrade Panyaza. We've got crime wardens here amongst us. Comrade President, the communities are beginning to enjoy life in our townships here in Gauteng. When I visited the family of Comrade King Sibia after his passing, just after we parked 2 cars, 2 crime wardens just arrived from Norway. They want to see that where we are going, the community is safe. But when Comrade Panyaza launches this program, who's the first person to attack him? The DA. They say you won't have the money to do it. Stop this particular program. Because they want us to have our communities unsafe and the ANC to be seen. So it is in this regard that we have supported this initiative by Comrade Panyaza. And we are saying other provinces can learn from this important example. And one thing that also Comrade Panyaza has done was to integrate former liberation veterans from across the board to join in the fight against crime as crime wardens in our community. But comrade, taking a cue from Joe Slovo, learning from him, Comrade President, we know the role that he played, which was vital in the resistance against apartheid. His brilliance and theoretical clarity and contributions that shaped our revolutionary movement and its path. Particularly, for instance, in his seminal work, the South African Working Class and the National Democratic Revolution, he further elaborated the inseparable bond between national liberation and class struggle, and argued that the defeat of apartheid was only the first step towards a social transformation of society. And his commitment to equal power relations in society is capitalism. In other words, the unequal power relations, even in Europe, the most oil, the capitalist system that they are pursuing. The current problems that we are confronting on the will of the people, we learn from the same pot. Let me just say, we'll find time to talk. But I want to address from this podium the comrades who are leading the municipality in Sidibé, in the Val. Comrade President, if you ask your team to drive you to Sebokeng today, you will be shocked by the deterioration of that particular township. It's led by our comrades. It's unacceptable. Whatever, it doesn't matter which route you use. It's not passable. It's not, you can't enter Sebokeng proper. It has been like that for the past 6 years. Now, these are the conditions that are afflicting even other municipalities across the board in our country. At the same time, we now have a Minister of Copter saying he's going to cut public works program. That way a major intervention to alleviate the crisis in our local municipality. We are opposed to that fundamentally as the Communist Party. We'll say something about this question later on in the meeting. But of course, Comrade President, we have seen both progress and
regression. In other words, progress and reversals in economic development of our country. In economic terms, we can say that progress has been very slow and even reversing, largely because the democratic state is gradually withdrawing from the economy in favor of private capital. This has led to stagnation in the lives of our people. We have characterized Comrade President in joining Comrade Slovo on theorizing the moment to appreciate what we call the national grievance of South Africa today. We characterize that as lack of change for the majority of our people. In other words, lack of economic change as a major national grievance of our people. That's a new analysis from South African Communist Party. We are joining the President. There are many factors leading to this. Part of colonial factors, part of the nation of the economy, and the exploitation of the workers and so forth. The elite pectoring to take this country forward. That's why when we became agitated in this party, and I think one other thing, Comrade President, is that leaders of the alliance have to get used to how I speak. I think like this when I get into the podium. It's not anger, Comrade President. On my part, just so that you know. The DA in particular, its main aim, they never intended, Comrade President. They continue to say it in many respects. We monitor them every single day. They say their mission remains to destroy the national compass. Now, we are simply saying, you know, Oliver Tambo gave our comrade in Frelimo a message through Samora Machel when they were engaging with the apartheid regime towards signing the Komati Accord. He said to the ANC, to Samora Machel and the Frelimo comrades, please don't hug the hyena, because the hyena eats you and the goat. They finish you off. The DA that we are hugging in the GNU are hyenas to finish off the movement. That is why, politically, just as the year starts, they begin to agitate, to rebuild themselves, to say they must meet again. Forces of the Moonshot Pact. They are preparing themselves on how to weaken us further. We in the party will not allow our movement to be destroyed by reactionary forces, and we sit down and do nothing about it. We will fight them to the end. Therefore, we fully accept neoliberalism in its entirety, and we also believe that we have mechanism to make interventions, both from a perspective of fiscal, which is the finance policy, and from a perspective of monetary policy, which is the money policy driven by the Reserve Bank. The positions were taken by individuals. We can also change them. In that way, we can have the levers of finance in our hands. We can create systems of finance in our hands that can respond to the challenges facing our people. Not only leave that to the existing economy. And therefore, we continue the rolling out of the National Health Insurance, as well as the rolling out of the Education Laws Amendment Act. And this one, we're going to pay special attention to Minister Warube, because she has said, according to the DA, they want her to out all these regulations for as far as possible. I'm prepared to take her to court for implementation of this better act that we have signed, and we appreciate that you went ahead and signed it. We were unhappy when we were feeling that you were having the pressure without talking to us and giving these reactionary forces more time. Now that we have signed it, she must lead in the implementation of this and not taking this thing through regulations. We also believe, Comrade President, that COPTA must stop this program to retrench workers, particularly taking away 125,000 community work program workers who are in this work program.
This will have devastating impact on our communities currently who do not have enough income, or majority do not even have income. We say this will be a callous betrayal of the ANC's own manifesto, supported by the allies in the recent 2024 election, because that manifesto spoke about 18.4 million work opportunities through public employment programs. So this is a critical program. But the people in government who are colluding with are seeking to reverse all of this intervention. We also are calling, comrades, that instead of having this retrenchment, we must create capabilities to create more jobs through the state. The state, Comrade President, part of the national dialogue that will be participating in as the Communist Party, is to call for the government to open the dialogue about the national debt of the country, so that we can use the resources that we have to create jobs and make people to meet their own livelihood. Towards conclusion, Comrade President, and all of you comrades, we are dealing with the question of the working class representation, the crisis of the working class representation in our country. This question relates to the state of our economy, the state of our people, as well as the crisis that the working class finds itself in. It is in this regard that the Communist Party decided to participate in the coming local government elections in 2026. This task, comrades, is not the intention to weaken any force of the alliance. On the contrary, our intention is to strengthen the alliance. Yes, in order to strengthen the alliance, we cannot be outside observers when the situation is getting bad and very bad for our people. So we are entering this space. We are not the enemies of the African National Congress. I just highlighted to you, we only have one member, my dear Dr. Bengeza, the only one who's not a member of the African National Congress. So the dual membership continues. We are not ending the alliance. What we are simply saying is that the political landscape necessitates that in order to defend the National Democratic Revolution and to regain the strength as a revolution, to confront capital, to bring back the economy into the hands of the people, the Communist Party has to strengthen our allies through standing on our own. This is very important, Communist President, because at the same time, you know, we've had the discussion for over 22 years on our efforts to achieve reconfiguration of the alliance. This has not happened. We've been patient enough, Comrade President, on this matter. We think we can strengthen and reconfigure the alliance practically. Today, if truth be told, Comrade President, you know it very well. You know executive authority. In terms of influence on government, the DA has more influence than the Communist Party. They have direct representation in cabinet. We don't have. So that's the difference. Yes, we don't have, in a sense, we have got comrades who are members of the Communist Party who are in cabinet through the direction of the African National Congress. None of them takes responsibility and accountability from us. Not a single one. So we have given our home to the movement. What more sacrifice can we do? We have done that. When we realize that now this sacrifice is disadvantaging our people, we have to find a new mechanism in which we can change the living conditions of our people. We are not interested in many other things. Myself in particular, I have put it up clearly. I do not want any position in government. We are not doing this because we want positions in government. No. We want to change the living conditions of the masses on the ground for the better. We want to tackle capital. We want to force the state to make the state see that it can tackle capital and serve the people wholeheartedly.
Not just to come and be in office and live in the office. No, it shouldn't work like that. It is in this regard, comrade, that when we are exercising our independence as a Communist Party, Comrade Duncan spoke about this question. I won't go into the detail. We are an independent organization. We are interdependent as well as the allies. I fully agree with you, Comrade President. We need the alliance. I told you at one point, many of my comrades, I've got a comrade here from the Central Committee. He's from Mkoto West, Comrade Debo Khopadi. He's one of our lead drafters. I always say to him, Comrade Debza, the problem with you is that you think we are in an MK camp. Even when we are drafting for the Communist Party, you draft from the perspective of the African National Congress. No. Now we are drafting from a communist perspective. We trained him in the Soviet Union. He's clear on that as well. Make no mistake. He's one of our brilliant intellectuals. The economy what he call Nala. We can bring any other economist. They can't contest him on ideas. Practical ideas on how to improve our communities. We are working with him and other communities to make our communities self-reliant. This program of self-reliance of our communities, comrades, it's a task of all party structures. It's not a task of the Central Committee alone or Comrade Tebu. People must not say if Tebu has not arrived with this program in their communities, they can't roll out this program. We are working on this program in our townships, in the villages, to make sure that our people are self-reliant. That's one fundamental task of the revolution. The revolution must not shift people into the hands of capital that further exploit them. It must save them from exploitation by capital. Of course, comrades, we need to build a party of the working class, a strong party of the working class, in order for us to participate effectively in the 2026 local government elections. These elections, comrades, many are pitting us against the African National Congress. Even some inside the Communist Party are getting confused. No, we are contesting political power of society. We have just indicated the crisis of representation of the working class in governance, because majority of the people stayed away from the elections than those who participated in the elections. So we are entering that space clearly as a Communist Party. We do not want opportunists who will be moving from one area to the other, dividing our movement in the name of the Communist Party. We are participating in these elections independently for the working class, not for our own jacket. That's how it's going to be. We will shape South African politics differently. The march to socialism is now starting in earnest. This march is unmitigated. In other words, it's as clear as the daylight. We are on a war path. We have launched a mass battle against capital. And if the state and the democratic state aligns itself with capital, it will fight against itself, against the masses. That is why rudimentary objects of democracy will be created in our communities, Comrade President. We are starting one, which we hope one day, when it's possible, you will find the possibility to go in Tegezwe, where President Mandela once lived, to start a rudimentary concept of people's power, wherein constitutional democracy and people's democracy are allied and the people can look after themselves. Because there's been a new stage of extortion, where a criminal gang has gone amok, it's raping women and children, and people have even abandoned their houses. So we cannot accept that thing in a situation where democracy, under democracy, the only thing we say you must respond to is to say, go and report it to the police. We are rebuilding the rudimentary structures of people's power to fight people's democracy on the ground. This will be part and parcel of how we are going to rebuild local governments, for instance. And of course, in this regard, we'll be building popular power of the masses and building more broad fronts and community fronts in our realities. Of course, in this regard, comrades, we are also integrated with the international situation. We want to say a few words in this regard. The first is that we want to call on the United States of America to end its illegal blockade of Cuba and the occupation of Guantanamo Bay, and to remove Cuba from the so-called list of countries sponsoring terrorism. How is it possible that Cuba can sponsor terrorism? Only the US that compiles this list unilaterally, without any democratic or multilateral mandate, says so. It is a pretext to maintain, for instance, imperialist aggression, including continued illegal sanctions against Cuba outside the framework of the United Nations. We are saying to the USA, they must stop undermining the United Nations itself and start implementing resolutions of the UN that they always oppose but are supported overwhelmingly by majority countries to end the illegal blockade on Cuba. We continue to condemn the imperialist regime of the United States on how it makes the people of Cuba to suffer for the choice of socialism, as they do with the people of North Korea for their choice of socialism. We strongly denounce equally the autocratic regime of Swaziland for its continued human rights violation and repression of democracy and communist activists. And in this regard, we pledge our solidarity with the oppressed people of Swaziland and the people of Swaziland, and make the call for democratization to take place and for the release of political prisoners and the return of political exiles and transition to democracy. At the same time, we are also highlighting the sufferings by the people of Western Sahara under Morocco's occupation. They are having a massive hardship, and their hardship, which is quite immense, is compounded by the complicity of imperialist forces like France and Spain. Together with Morocco, these two countries want to stop at nothing to maintain their oppression and control and the dispossession of the resources of the people of Western Sahara. We say they must stop the exploitation of the natural resources of Western Sahara and its political economy. And equally, we call for our people to extend a hand of friendship, including the South African government, with the people of Sudan, who are in a war because of elite interest to control the wealth of that particular society. We equally call for the immediate end to this war in Sudan, which is disproportionately affecting women and children, and majority of the people are now displaced, including men. We also, once again, we congratulate this chap of Podemos in Mozambique, who's creating himself an independent. At one point, he's not independent, this chap. He's literally a reactionary, comes from Renamo. So we must decode him fully. At one point, he was a candidate of Renamo, a reactionary force that colluded with imperialists for the oppression of the people of Mozambique. So while we respect the people of Mozambique to resolve their internal problems, our solidarity with the people of Mozambique and Frelimo in particular remains unwavering. We equally congratulate our comrades in Namibia of SWAPO for their electoral victory, and we express our ongoing support towards fundamental change in Namibia. We also welcome the shift towards the left in Botswana with the Umbrella for Democratic Change's victory. The Umbrella for Democratic Change is an alliance inclusive of, among others, the Botswana National Front, which is our ally. We welcome the recent announcement by the newly elected president of Botswana, Comrade Tumaboko, of progressive policies on poverty reduction in that diamond-rich country. We wish him well in his tenure as the president of Botswana. We also want to pledge our solidarity with the Sahel region in their struggle for full independence from France and imperialist domination. This must be viewed, Comrade President and others, all of you, Comrade, as part of the second phase of the African Revolution. What is happening in the Sahel region? Imperialism is disintegrating. Even recently in Senegal and the Ivory Coast, the French were now leaving that territory because they were controlling it, including controlling its military. The African countries have never really tasted independence. We have now reached a stage where we cannot accept imperialism to continue to treat us in this way. We stand equally in solidarity with the people of Venezuela, the people of Nicaragua and Bolivia and others in Latin America against U.S. imperialist aggression. We support and will be represented at the inauguration of President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela in the next few days. We equally want to condemn the interference by the U.S. government and the attempt to destabilize Venezuela because of the U.S. policy of regime change. Our solidarity with the people of Palestine remains firm against apartheid Israel settler regime's occupation and genocide. And we stand with the axis of resistance across the Middle East against Israeli aggression and U.S. imperialism. We also, comrades, want to express our continued solidarity, a firm one for that matter, with the people of Palestine for the freedom of historic Palestine and against the expropriation of Palestinian land by the occupying apartheid Israeli regime. Together with its autocratic imperialist beggar, the U.S., the apartheid Israeli settler regime wants to stop at nothing to maintain its oppression of the Palestinian people and exploit their land and natural resources, especially including offshore gases resources. That is offshore gas resources. We equally call for the release of Dr. Wissam Abu Safia, director of Kamal Adwan Hospital in Gaza, which was the only remaining functioning hospital in Gaza, has been bombed by the apartheid Israeli regime. Of course, we are calling on solidarity of our people, the people of South African people, and particularly from Communist Party members and our liberation movement, with the people of Yemen, who are equally under bombardment from the United States of America and from Israel. They are destroying Sana'a and the country of Yemen on the basis of its own independence. We are pledging our solidarity with the people of Yemen, as we continue to do with the people of Syria and Lebanon in their fight against foreign occupation and terrorism. And we call on the world working class and progressive forces to strengthen the rising multipolar movement for a just, peaceful world order free from imperialist oppression. We welcome equally the rise of China as a significant force in global multipolar world system to create a just world order system. This is very important for us and for progressive forces. Equally, the Russian anti-imperialist response in the war provoked by NATO countries in Ukraine is another vital indicator of the shift towards global multipolarity. Even just a few weeks ago, Secretary of State of the U.S. Blinken admitted in public that the Americans sent armaments, missiles and everything 5 months before the special military operation of Russia into Ukraine, to prepare Ukraine to attack Russia and to keep this war going for as long as they want. So we're saying the emperor is naked and has been exposed, the emperor of the USA. Russia, on the one hand, has demonstrated its capability to stand out against the US-led imperialist collective West. Yes, it is the US-led imperialist collective West that provoked this war in Ukraine, through, among others, a coup, a movement towards its expansion, as well as targeting ultimately China. This emerged as part of the imperialist agenda to build a totalitarian control of the global resources and the economy. And I think, in closing, comrades, from our own Congress, we have outlined some key tasks for all our members. The most immediate task of the working class today is to free itself from the cocoon of compradorial politics characterized by elite-driven representative democracy. In other words, we are now entering a platform of building people's democracy. We need to embrace the agenda for transformative change of our material living condition for the better by freeing also our own revolution from the cocoon of colonial entrapment development trajectory. In other words, we need to resolve the national grievance today, which is to drive change to improve the lives of our people. That is to drive economic change. In doing so, we must tackle capital head on. It is in this regard, comrade, that also when we participate in this national dialogue, we must shape it and not allow capital to go and shape the national dialogue and then give us a project that the working class did not shape. We'll be actively involved in shaping this national dialogue engagement on the ground. And we call on our branches to refine their strategies to implement our program, the South African struggle for socialism, and to prepare ourselves for effective participation in the coming local government election. Its three pillars is serve the struggle, service to the people. This is the key theme of our task going forward. We must build party structures in all communities to safeguard the interests of the working class and to give strength to the struggle for self-reliance of our communities. The revolution, comrades, belongs to the people, and they are the ultimate barometer if that revolution is working or not. We shall be judged by our deeds on the ground, and ours is to build socialism on the ground. As we said, it is either socialism or barbarism. It is in this regard that we are going to make sure that our revolution is fully defended and is on a correct trajectory. We are not in any way seeking to weaken the revolutionary forces, but on the contrary, to strengthen them. Amanda! Long live the alliance, long live! Forward to socialism, forward! Thank you very much, comrade.
Amandla! Amandla! Skokele mapayila skokele! Skokele mapayila skokele! Thank you very much to the General Secretary. The message is very clear. We are building the organs of people's power. We'll protect the community. Sikubone wenza i-development programs. Ungathi sizomela ugovernment uzosiza sesiqalile or sizosebenza naye. Comrades, is very clear the message. Indlala, ubumpofu, ungabi nemisebenzi are the major problems. Comrade Mandla, co-chair,
I'm hungry.
You are taking over to direct us. Comrades, can we request you to clear there? Comrades, please.
Amanda, comrades, this is the list I'm going to read for the comrades who we are asking to help us with the wreath. The General Secretary, Comrade Solima Paila, will be in the front with the President, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. So if they can please come towards the front. They will be followed by the following comrades. Comrades Duncan Luvuno and Comrade Joyce Mulo Imuruba doing the wreath. For the list. So can we comrades, the camera. Puno and Comrade Joyce Mulo Imuruba to receive a single wreath. Lucky Loyi, together with Comrade Madala Masugu, get his singing. Comrade David Masondo and Comrade Zwandile Takudi. Comrade 2nd TGS. Comrade Nombeko Daniels and Comrade Mohammed from the Embassy of Sahrawi. Comrade Nombeko MKP and Comrade Mohammed from the Embassy, the Sahrawi Embassy. Comrade Ambassador Carlos from the Venezuela, together with Comrade Basim from Palestine. Comrade Carlos and Comrade Basim together. Comrade John, the first Secretary of the Embassy of Korea, together with Comrade Jacob Mamamulu. Comrade John, the Nomantu. Hello. Comrade Nomantu Rally Huku, together with Comrade Gichisa. Comrade Nomantu, are you still here? Comrade Gichisa. And Comrade Poli. Comrade Tulas Nwesi. Comrade Tulas Nwesi. Together with Comrade Jenny Schreiner. The next one, Comrade Jenny. The next one, Comrade Jenny. Comrade Jenny will be joined by Comrade Tebo Hopadu. Comrade Jenny and Comrade Tebo Hopadu, you are going to take the last grip. You are going to take the last item on the agenda. Comrades, if we can just settle down, just one small last item, which is a vote of thanks. It will be a very quickly an item. We are done now with the writ laying process. We are now going to do it with a vote of thanks. Comrade Kosi, Baba, so the provincial treasurer of the Sacp.
Thank you very much, Comrade Directors, Comrade Deputy National Chairperson, Comrade Mbaisi, Comrade Provincial Chairperson, Comrade Professor Andla Katere. Let me also, on behalf of the Provincial Executive Committee of Gauteng, take this opportunity to thank our General Secretary, Comrade Kapaila, with all the Central Committee members, inclusive of the provincial secretaries that are coming from other provinces. We've seen Pumalanga, we've seen Limpopo, and others that we didn't see. And all the structures of the Communist Party, including the hosting district comrade, District Secretary, Comrade Africa, and all the branches that are present here. Special also goes to the board of thanks, go to the Prince of Gauteng, Comrade Panyaza Lisufi, and MECs that were present here, inclusive of Comrade Nomadu Rajokoko, who was here. Comrade, the mayor of city of Johannesburg, Comrade Dada Morero, we really thank you for forever gracing these commemorations. Thank you and all the affiliates, some co-leadership for coming and also be part with all the sample structures of Gauteng. Ahmed Katrada Foundation that was here, all families that were present here from Comrade Mulukwane family, Sibia family, Simudi family, and Linda Jabane family. The president of SASCO, the YCL National Secretary, will really thank you. All the veterans raised to making time to come and Secretary Comrade Slovo. Comrade the sub-district were all from our VDs. We're here, subs, Mapanya. Let me thank the service providers, your B3, that for your unwavering support since we started these commemorations. The service provider that is forever with us, that has erected a lot of tents today, and all the service providers that were present here today. We are saying, Comrade, the MKM LMP, Siyabonga kakhulu Makabane, Comrade Nomfu. Siyabonga kakhulu for representing the Mkhonto Wesizwe Liberation War veterans. We really thank you. We really thank you, and we'll be working side by side with the Communist Party in all our structures. We really appreciate it. Really thanking you and appreciated your time. Done accordingly, program directors, we thank you. Secretary of Gauteng, we thank you, and the provincial.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Comrade Koshi. As I opened it, I must say now we've come to the end, closing this activity for now. We are chairing it for the next year. Thank you very much, comrades. Enjoy. And I'm told that I must say Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And behave, comrades. Behave in 2025. Let's all go to the ground and prepare for